Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Xavier. We're very excited to have you joining us on a beautiful morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Stupendous morning.
I think it's the prelude to a hot day, I suspect.
Hot day because of what we have here?
Well, both definitions. It's exciting in here, but it also, I think, is going to be warm. I think it's going to be warm outside as well. So we've got a fantastic show lined up for everyone in here. We're going to be joined shortly in the show by Ben Rous, the music director for Charlottesville Symphony, as well as later in the show by Aileen Sevier and Tracey Love from Virginia Wine Benefit. And then last but certainly not least, Matthias and Ali Sevindi. Matthias, of course, from Matthias Realty, and Ali, the owner of Otto, Turkish CVille, right here in the downtown mall. So we are really excited for today's show. Of course, love being presented by Emergent Financial Services and powered by our great partners at Matthias Realty, Credit Serious Insurance, Forward, Adelante, and of course powered by you, our viewers, who we certainly wouldn't be here without you watching. So we always appreciate that.
It's like when you go to a stadium, right? I mean, all the fans are yelling and screaming in whatever venue you have there, or even like a symphony, right? If it's empty, because I think it was during COVID years when I think they still played baseball or something, right? And like it just felt awkward. Yes. No noise, no sound. I would imagine the players themselves just didn't have that energy. So it's really your
when you
viewers.
Have people in the room, you got
exactly,
the energy feeling. You're feeling it. So which we love. So, already got some people tuning in. Nicholas Urpí is watching. So he did tune in.
Thank goodness I said something.
He did tune in. We got several other people joining us this morning. We got Dr. Elizabeth Urpí tuning in this morning. Thanks for watching, one of our favorite viewers. So little by little, we got everyone joining us, all coming in. Be sure to send us any questions or comments you may have. We will certainly read them. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited to jump right into today's show.
Absolutely. I'm excited to ask Ben a few questions.
See, I timed it perfectly. I saw him taking a sip of water. I'm going to say now when I introduce him.
That's right. He's going to swallow quickly.
Exactly. Well, we are excited to welcome to the show this morning Ben Rous. He is the music director of our very own Charlottesville Symphony. Ben, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Glad to be here. You guys sold this way, way too hard. I'm nowhere near as interesting as you made it sound like I was going to be.
That's not true.
We've watched the previous show. Right. So great to have you on. This has been one beautiful season, I have to say. We've enjoyed all the different things tremendously. The last one I was at was, of course, there was the piano concerto by Prokofiev, which was magnificent. So, have you been what's it like when you come kind of to the last concert of the season? Is there a sense of like anticipation, but also like closure?
Yeah. Well, we planned a finale, which is internally, it's a heavy lift because there are a lot of different moving parts, lots of collaborations, lots of guest artists. So it's a bigger project than the rest of them. So it does feel like this major final push.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Tiffany Harrell, thanks for joining us this morning and watching the show this morning. So, tell us about. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I don't want to take over the show like last time, so go ahead, ask your question.
The last time that you took over the show,
that's what they told me.
It went so well.
Oh, it did.
So it was great.
Take over again.
Go for it. What were we going to ask?
No, I really want to ask about West Side Story and Bolero, right? Because it's first of all, it's especially Bolero is one of those pieces that I really love. There are some people. It's funny. I think it's one of those pieces where people just either don't like at all or they really love. I don't know. And I'm one of those that really, really love it.
Oh yeah.
I know, for example, my wife is just like one of those pieces like.
But she's been tainted because she saw it in some movie that she didn't like.
That 10 movie, yeah.
Right, but if you just hear Bolero by itself by Ravel, it's a beautiful also learning, I feel, experience for the audience. If you have all the different sections.
And if you listen live, watching people play it, it also changes your mind how good that is.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a very strange piece, obviously, right? Because there's Ravel himself said there is no music in it about his piece of music, Bolero, right? It was a weird thing that he said, but he also said it was his only masterpiece.
Wow.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. And there's a third thing that he said about it, which is that genius is being able to write a cliche Isn't that pithy?
That is.
It is,
Yeah,
and it is because
that's
it
true.
is cliche. It is not just because I went in that movie 10, but it's just kind of everywhere, and it's a weird piece because it's the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Actually, remember, it's two things. There's one theme, and then the other theme. And actually, it goes the first theme, the second theme, the second theme, the first theme, the first theme. That's the thing that people forget about it because the two themes are weirdly similar to each other, but
Right.
not the same. But just like you said, it's a tour of the orchestra. This solo, then that section, then this, and changing it and growing it, right? It grows over. So the thing that people should know about our bolero, it's very much our bolero on this concert, is that we heavily remixed bolero to include all of the collaborations that we've got on this concert to put them all in one big melting pot. So it's a kind of a summation of the kind of, you know, addition of the entire concert as the finale. And so it does exactly that thing where you meet the focus on this instrument, focus on that instrument, et cetera, except that it includes I'd have to talk about the whole program to describe it. It includes everybody that's played so far. And we they play it in their own styles because there's a lot of different styles of music on this program.
Interesting.
That's
Well,
interesting,
that's
yeah.
a good segue into it because I think this program is pretty unique in that, like most people, I think, you know, you go to see a symphony and you kind of already know a lot of the composers you're going to get in the symphony.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about here is that a lot of the composers we're going to hear at this concert are UVA composers.
Yeah, so playing their own music.
Playing
That's
their
the
own
that's
music.
the big thing is that what we wanted to do with this program was to feature the incredible breadth and diversity of music making that happens here in Charlottesville, especially in the UVA music department, because UVA music department is this almost like wacky place. There's I can't think of another place that had, well, until recently we had a klezmer ensemble. We still have a bluegrass ensemble, African drum and dance ensemble, which is led by a practitioner who combines scholarship with performance, with teaching. So she's kind of both on the scholarship and the performance side of things. Obviously, all these different types of scholars, and then all these types of composers, especially emphasizing electronic music, and performers in all these different genres. So we wanted to bring everyone in. So I could just kind of describe everyone who's on the program a little bit. We recently hired two new professors, Jovia Armstrong and Nicole Mitchell. Now, Nicole Mitchell is an eminence in the jazz world. She's a jazz flutist. Although jazz is a little bit too narrow of a moniker for what she does, she has pieces that are fully notated, pieces that are improvised, pieces that combine both, and she's played and performed in just so many different kind of ensembles and contexts and genres. And we wanted to play with her. We hired Jovia Armstrong, who's improvising groove percussionist, who's, I think her genre is best described as Afrofuturism. And we wanted to feature her, and we've got a lot of people around town know John Dirth and the Freebridge Quintet. They play these regular Thursdays at Miller's, etc. And we wanted to feature them. And one of UVA's composers, Matthew Bertner, who describes himself as an eco-acoustician, who makes music out of things like the sounds of melting glaciers. And he's from Alaska, and he goes around with his microphones recording.
He collects sounds.
He collects these field recordings, and he grew up. You look at the town where he grew up is like on the north slope of. I mean, he knows ice. It's so close to him, and that's his life's work is turning that into art. So we're doing a piece in this kind of ecoacoustics style. An Afrofuturist piece with Jovia Armstrong on her hybrid cajon drum set, which is a drum set like you've never seen before. The cajon is the box drum that you sit on top of, but she plays that with one hand and has got a drumstick in the other hand to play the rest of the set. Nobody plays like her. Nobody. I think she invented the concept, and so we're featuring her on 3 tracks from her latest album that I rearranged for orchestra with her on her set. and a concerto for jazz quintet and orchestra, which is also a rarity, which is an original. So we're doing an original composition of John Dirth's, an original composition of Nicole Mitchell's. That one was fully notated. Piece by Jovia Armstrong that I notated because her band had basically improvised it around her structure. So I orchestrated that. And so we're playing in a lot of different styles. And I think what's interesting about this program is, just like you said, you go to a symphony, you kind of expect Beethoven and Tchaikovsky. And, well, there are these two pieces, Bolero and West Side Story, that are very famous, that people have heard a lot of. But this shows that when you've got an orchestra, you can do a whole lot of different things. The orchestra can take a lot of shapes, and the feeling of moving through a concert can be very different from just sitting down to a classical symphony.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I love the idea of the breadth of what you can do with sound, what you can do with instruments in new ways, in ways that you might not have expected or heard before. And in one case, what you can do with sounds that you aren't even in the orchestra at the time, like they're there, but they've been recorded from nature itself.
Yeah.
In a sense.
I would assume that these pieces took a lot more time also, right? Because, I mean, first of all, you had to convert them into, orchestra.
Yes.
And then two, I mean, this is something relatively new. You got so many people that you're working with. Mm-hmm. How does that work? I mean, because I assume you only have a certain amount of time, pieces a week that you can work on. Yeah.
In the amount of rehearsal time we had, I was careful to try not to overstuff the program because it's a lot of different pieces, and it's harder when you have to change styles than if you're playing a 45-minute symphony that's all by one composer in one style. That rehearses faster than 45 minutes of three completely different modalities of playing. So, for Jovia Armstrong's piece, I was the one who wrote out the orchestra parts, and that was a huge project. Nicole Mitchell had fully notated the orchestral parts. John Dirth had fully notated the orchestral parts, with some places where some individuals have space to improvise. Okay. It's basically written out. Matthew Bertner's piece is written in another notation style, which is non-metric. People have notes that they play when it sounds right to them in given time periods, and the score's written out with minutes and seconds to correspond with the ice and water sounds that go along with it, which we blend with. So that's another way that the musicians had to get used to playing, which again is different from sitting down and reading the notes down in a classical symphony. So I know it was probably my favorite thing that we've done all season. I hope that it was also as interesting for the players. But
I was going to ask you that. How do they feel about that? How do they go home and go, oh my Lord?
The answer to that is I don't know.
No.
And I probably never will. It's really interesting conducting an orchestra because I had a friend who said you would need a different finger for every single person in the orchestra to conduct them the way they want to be conducted, which I think is a little bit of an exaggeration of nobody's actually thinking about all those different things at once, but it is definitely true that I might hear someone's opinion but never hear another person's opinion, and that doesn't mean that they don't have one, right? So I don't know. I do think that when we got together with the soloists, right? Everyone knows how awesome the Free Bridge Quintet is. Yep. When people started hearing Jovia Armstrong play her grooves with the music that we had prepared ahead of time, I did see the looks on some faces of, oh, now I get how awesome this is.
Yes.
And I personally hang off of every note that Nicole Mitchell plays. She's filthy, so good. I don't know. So I do think that it's been a kind of an adventure that we're all on together.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing show.
Tremendously, yeah. Just to see what it comes together as. Out of curiosity, how did you come to decide on those two bookends? I mean, as we discussed Bolero a little bit, which kind of makes sense, right? You've seen all these different guest artists, and now you're going to see them all. Hear them all, I should say, right, in something that you may be a little bit more familiar with, but you're hearing it in a new way.
Yeah.
How about the overture from West Side Story?
Yeah, and about Bolero, that it is really in in their own separate styles. When we kick it to the variation that has the quintet, the theme from Bolero turns into a jazz standard, and then they've got changes and they improvise over that, and then it moves into a different section that's in square rhythm instead of swung rhythm, and we made, I think, more variety than the original Bolero has, but with the same idea of it's driving away at this one theme. So Bolero was the idea of like a big boat for us all to kind of sail out on together. Mm-hmm. And to open it up, I thought West Side Story was right because everybody loves it, and I love it. I love playing it. And also, of course, Bernstein had this. Well, he had a lot of influences, actually, that all show in there. There's a jazz influence. There's a classical influence. There's actually a kind of avant-garde contemporary music influence in there, but it's kind of under the surface. Because keep in mind, Bernstein, as a conductor, was premiering new works by American composers and by European composers. He was very into the new music scene, not just as a composer, but also premiering really avant-garde stuff. And so that's part of his compositional language also. And I don't know, everyone's got Maestro on the film. Film Maestro on kind of on the tip of their tongue right now. And I thought that was an interesting connection. I have to say, I'm embarrassed to admit, I've only seen the 6 minutes where he's actually conducting the orchestra of Maestro. I have not yet watched the film, which is silly, but I have seen those 6 minutes, which are interestingly mixed between good and very not on the mark, but interesting.
In other words, classic Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the rest of the film is probably similar to that. He's really good with his face. He learned certain things well with his hands, and also there are some obvious kind of shortcuts that he took in his learning process that he probably had to go back and repeat to get it, because there are a couple things completely foreign to Bernstein's idiom in terms of lack of clarity here and there. So, but that seems good. I liked it.
It's at least cool to see like a movie about a conductor.
Yeah.
Sure. And composer, but like in other words, a movie about that kind of. Yeah. On the influence that he had, and I think when I was looking through the program, like it's a great touch because he is, in many ways, like Bernstein for his era was kind of like where that American quintessential brought American conducting and composing to the forefront of things, right? And in many ways, that's what the department at UVA is all about. It's not just teaching people to perform works from long ago. It's about creating new work and new ways of playing it in the here and now, which I think Bernstein kind of did embrace in his lifetime as well.
He absolutely typified that. And so you've got this obviously melting pot of culture, right? This whole kind of Puerto Rican element in the show that shows in the music. And he was writing about the New York that he knew, and he was writing about the America that he knew, and about the music world that he knew, and he was that kind of early high water mark of bringing. I'm stopping myself because I was going to say high culture, but at his time there was high culture and low culture, right? People should keep in mind when Leopold Stokowski shook Mickey Mouse's hand in Fantasia. After that, there were orchestras he could not conduct. He wouldn't be invited because he had debased himself by shaking Mickey Mouse's hand. Yeah. So, and he was one of the leading musicians. He was the music director of the Philadelphia Orchestra. And then after that, he wasn't invited to many major orchestras because of that, because he had thrown in his lot with the other guys, right? With Disney, with pop culture.
Even though the music didn't change, the music was exactly, the same.
In Fantasia.
Yeah, Fantasia.
Fantasia is spectacular. Yeah. It's a wonderful piece of art.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic piece of art.
It's a great way to introduce music to children.
But people should realize how countercultural it was at the time. And Bernstein was a couple decades later, but not that much later, and he was also
doing that.
questioned, and he was the
Yes.
great eminence. He was questioned for his embrace of Broadway, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so here we are, and I thought that he as a figure fit in perfectly with really who we are at UVA, which is this amazing diversity of styles. And so this concert, shows that we're kind of celebrates that we're in this post high art and low art era, and that the melting pot of genres is should be our norm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And the nice thing about this one, so obviously it's this weekend here in Charlottesville. You're at the typical times and location. So you'd have the 7:30 at Old Cabell Hall, the 3 p.m. I think it is, or 3:30 at
3:30.
at 3:30 at Martin Luther King Jr. Performing Arts Center at Charlottesville High School on Sunday. So you'd have Saturday and Sunday. But then there's also going to be a performance of this for the first time that people to look forward to, particularly if you're not in the Charlottesville area, if you like to go up to DC area. Because in Northern Virginia, in Tyson's Corner, there's going to be another is it going to be the same concert, just in a different venue up there?
Yeah, we're really, really thrilled about this. This is the first time Charlottesville Symphony has done this, at least any time in its recent history, and possibly ever. We got invited by the CEO of UVA's Nova campus to come up there and make an event. He said, well, we want to make publicity for the fact that UVA has a Nova location and reach out to our alumni up there, the UVA community up there, et cetera. And so we thought perfect to bring our showcase of the department up to, Capital One Hall in Tyson's on April 28th, Sunday, the afternoon of April 28th. Matinee show. We're thrilled to bring this program up there. Capital One Hall is a quite new venue. Looks nice and shiny. I have not been inside it yet. I've only seen the pictures, so I'm excited to go up there and light it up. The weekend after we do the concert here, we're bringing it up to Northern Virginia.
That's fantastic. And
yeah.
you can find, the nice thing is you can find tickets for all of these if you go to CVilleSymphony.org. The first thing there, you can always go to the little buy tickets part, and there's all the concerts, but there's the first thing there is the one that you can then go buy tickets for the matinee on April 28th. Sunday, April 28th in Northern Virginia. Doors open at 2 p.m. Does that one? So that one is the concert probably doesn't start then, but the doors will open at 2 p.m. On that day. So that's we're really excited to just bring
congratulations on that.
The symphony we know and love to the rest of Virginia.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. So Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much.
Pleasure's mine.
Look, even the audience outside, the live audience, is like,
what's going on out there? They're going to
I have no idea, but maybe they just love the Charlottesville Symphony that much. But thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Thanks for joining us.
Love having you on, and good fortunes this weekend.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Right. So as we go ahead and rotate here, I'll just reiterate. So CVilleSymphony.org. There's a bunch of links. Not hard to find. Don't waste any time if you want to go this weekend.
Yes.
So you can still do that because there's always like that kind of will call option. So
exactly,
you got two options this weekend, and then you can click the link for the 28th. From there as well, if you're going to be up,
that'll be
know
interesting
people
out there.
up in, if you got family up in Northern Virginia, let them know this is your chance to see Charlottesville Symphony.
I was
live.
wondering whether he had even been there to kind of look around and say, "How's this sound?" But it'll be interesting to see how he feels about that.
So we're excited for that, and looking forward to the concert. They always do such a marvelous job. It's one of our favorite. One of our 4 highlights of the year is the Charlottesville Symphony. So 5. I think there's 5 concerts. 5 times a year we have something to look forward to.
4 to 5 times, not bad either.
No, 5 out of 5 times. They've all been great this year, so we look forward to it. All right, so from one great guest to another pair of great guests that we're excited to bring on, and from one love of ours to another.
Exactly.
We're excited to welcome Aileen Sevier. I'm pronouncing that right, I hope. And say it close enough. And Tracey Love from Virginia Wine Benefit. So Aileen, Tracey, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We've been looking forward to it. Because I believe we had Joy Ting on, who had recommended you
amazing.
both, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I talked to them." So we had her on a few weeks ago. So we've been looking forward to having both of you on as well.
Yeah, appreciate.
So tell us a little bit about you. For those who haven't met yet, tell us maybe a little bit about yourselves, how you first maybe became interested in wine, and how you first got connected to Virginia Wine Benefit in your case. And then I forget if yours as well, Tracey, or if you're with Enoverse.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
tell us a little about how you got into each of your spheres as wine has to do with it.
Sure. I've been in the wine world for 20 years. In all aspects. I've been on the restaurant side, buying for a restaurant group.
Oh, okay.
Worked for an importer, working with wineries all around the world. Worked in Virginia Wine, ran sales and marketing for Early Mountain Vineyards up in Madison. And I now work for a national wholesaler called Winebow, actually focused on wineries in the Pacific Northwest. But, I'm here with my Virginia Wine hat on. And, jumping into Virginia Wine Benefit, I helped start it, I guess about a year and a half ago, with a group of wine enthusiasts, wine lovers, as well as other folks in the industry. And the goal is really to help build an annual auction event to support causes within the wine world as well as within the general community here in Virginia.
Okay.
So, Burgundy has its Hospice de Beaune auction going back, over 100 years. Napa Valley Vintners raises millions of dollars each year. Willamette Valley, there's this long tradition of great wine regions having these amazing auctions that support really powerful causes.
Which made sense because now,
absolutely.
Charlottesville, Virginia being now like going up there. Our guest from last week, from
we're
Southwest
talking about
Mountains Vineyard.
Keswick, that area becoming the Napa of the East
Wow, they were
Coast,
talking about
right?
Virginia won some major international award for best
Absolutely.
wine region.
Yeah, no, wine enthusiasts
There we
named
go.
the Monticello wine region best wine region,
Yeah, that's
which is
amazing. Yeah.
huge. And
Absolutely.
so, having an annual auction really goes hand in hand with being recognized globally as a top, top tier wine region. So.
Absolutely. How about yourself, Tracey? How'd you first become interested in wine and join? And tell us a little bit what Enoverse is.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I also come wearing a Virginia Wine hat and have been in the industry for many years, also starting in the restaurant side. I work full-time for Blenheim Vineyards now. I do our sales and marketing and events. We are a featured winery for the Virginia Wine Benefit and co-founded Enoverse with Reggie Leonard, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. He is a better public speaker. But we are basically an access and opportunity initiative in and through Virginia Wine. And we do a couple of different types of programs, but in collaboration with the Eurasian Project, which is a national 501c3 nonprofit organization that creates further access and jobs within wine between Virginia and California. And Enoverse is their partner for Virginia wine programming. So we run Eno Camp, which will happen at the end of this July. It's sort of a riff on Oregon's Pinot Camp, also going back to the Willamette Valley. Eno meaning wine in Latin. No one knows how to say Enoverse. But, verse has...
I will confess to check in beforehand, is it Enoverse?
Yeah. And, verse has so many different meanings and contexts. And so Eno Camp is a 3-day immersive Virginia wine program where we select 10 national grantees through the Eurasian Project, invite them to Charlottesville, and it's sort of hands-on education and learning. We, visit different wineries throughout different regions, including the Monticello AVA. And the wine benefit, the proceeds are going to the Eurasian Project to sponsor Eno campers. So it is all coming full circle, and we are super excited to partner with the Eurasian Project and also to be part of the wine benefit.
Wonderful. And I know one of the big things you do, of course, is those auctions, those events. And I know there's one upcoming in June, on June 15th.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that event.
Yeah, and actually this is our inaugural in-person auction. So our first year, we did a virtual auction. We raised $25,000, went to the Winemakers Research Exchange and the Blue Ridge Food Bank.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And so the philosophy with Virginia Wine Benefit is each year we're choosing new beneficiaries, So this year, a Eurasian project. And one will be within the wine space, one will be within the general community benefit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this year, a Eurasian project, and
Is the wine space.
through them, Enoverse is the wine recipient of the proceeds. But this is our first in-person auction. It will be at the beautiful Southwest Mountain Vineyards out in Brunswick.
Yep.
And so for
Yeah, the
those
great
of
Jody
you,
Mills, I think,
Jody is amazing.
is out there.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. She was on last week.
So
That's right.
she's on our board.
Oh,
and,
wonderful.
Southwest Mountain is generously donating the venue, which is unbelievable. And for those of you who haven't been out there, it is stunning.
It is
Oh,
spectacular.
it is.
A great addition to the Virginia wine world. So hosted at Southwest Mountain Vineyards, June 15th. It's an evening event. We're going to have some live music. We're going to have great food. But we're also going to have these unbelievable, we say, valueless, priceless options because there's some auction prizes that you simply could not buy. The Virginia wine community is really coming together to support and provide, special things. Like, Blenheim Vineyards is providing a Dave Matthews signed handbill. As well as a mixed case of their top, or a mixed 6-bottle of their top tier wines.
Also, so the prizes are mixed. I was going to ask, that was going to be a question. Are all the odd things being auctioned wine, or are there other things as well?
There's wine, there's experiences, there's tastings, there's overnights.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, lots of options. And what I love about Virginia wine is it's a community. People come together, they collaborate a lot. So I think the auction prizes that are going to be, bid up the highest are those where different folks are collaborating together.
Yes.
Yeah. So like last year, 3 wineries who are participating. We have Veritas and King Family. Their winemakers, Emily Pelton and Matthew Finot, together with Jake Bushing. The top auction bid last year was for a collaborative dinner where the 3 of them came together, pulled a wine that they had made together out of their cellar, and hosted a dinner for a group of, I think it was about 10 people, and that went for over $2,000.
Wow. Yeah. Which actually is a pretty good. That's a pretty good deal.
That's right,
actually,
yeah.
when you divide that by 10 people, that's
That's
actually
true.
that's
That's
kind
true.
of a bargain.
That's true.
You'll have to bid it up more this year.
Yeah, we can do that. And we are, our goal is definitely to earn 50,000. Why not just say let's double it? So, an example of one of the prizes that I think will be pretty spectacular. Tassie Pippert, who's been at James Madison running their culinary program, she's a phenomenal chef. She's hosting a 4-course dinner for 10 at Sixpenny Farm out in I might be saying this wrong, McGaysville.
In Daysville. Okay.
I did not look it up in advance.
I wouldn't know either. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I'm guilty
over in, I believe, in the Shenandoah Valley, and the winemaker from Bricks and Columns and Joy Ting, who you'd had as a guest,
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
are going to be coming together and providing wine and a little bit of wine education. We have Jay Yeomans, who's a master of wine in D.C. He runs the Capital Wine School. He's going to host a tasting for up to 12, private tasting, where he's choosing 6 Virginia Cabernet Francs and 6 Cabernet Francs from throughout the world. And, offering his amazing expertise, walking through the wines. There's overnights. The Quirk Hotel is giving us an overnight that we're packaging together with some other experiences here in Charlottesville.
Fantastic.
But the other thing that's really amazing at the event itself, we have 12 different wineries from throughout the state coming together. The winemakers, the owners are going to be there pouring. So, it's a chance to taste through some Charlottesville favorites. As I said, King Family, Veritas, Blenheim, Early Mountain, Stinson, so many others. Hark, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. But also, folks from the Valley are coming. Bluestone Vineyards, Commonwealth Crush, which is a very cool new project out in Waynesboro.
Okay.
As well as folks from up north, so Delaplane and the winery at Bull Run. So, there's very few times that you can really, here just outside of Charlottesville, taste through great wineries from throughout the state.
Throughout the whole state.
In one place, you can just taste a variety of different wines. And we were talking about last week how Virginia is in a way special, right? To some respect, with the fact that you could be in one place in Virginia and another place, and those, because of the weather, there's just
Quite
a change
different.
in quality and taste of that wine that you can be complete. So it's nice to have that range of wines from Virginia in one place at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
Especially if you like wine.
And so now where, we'll circle back on where people can get tickets and so
We
forth.
can tell them now and later.
Oh, we can tell them. That's true. That's
No,
true.
we can tell them twice.
You can tell them twice. So where should people go to get tickets for
Yeah,
that?
so we are working with a really cool online, or not just online, auction kind of support called Better World. So it was actually started by 2 UVA students, Darden grads. So betterworld.com, and just search for either The Generous Pour, which is the name of our event at Southwest Mountain Vineyards, June 15th, or for Virginia Wine Benefit, and it'll pop right up.
Perfect. I just wanted to ask you, Tracey. So, just one, obviously, the Eurasian project is benefit. Tell us a little bit about like what happens at like the camp, or what does the project support? Things like Verse and so forth. Tell us a little bit about the project, so people get an idea like who's benefiting in some way.
Yeah, Camp specifically, we focus on inviting underrepresented or folks from marginalized communities to enter this program with the goal that they will further their careers in Virginia wine from basically all aspects, from the cellar to the vineyard to marketing to business. Whether they actually want to own their own winery one day, but it's creating more access and opportunity. In the Virginia wine industry on all levels. The Eurasian Project has a really incredible Future Leaders program. So all of the Camp grantees, once they go through camp, they'll be connected with the Eurasian Project over the course of the year, and they'll be paired with a mentor in whatever avenue they want to focus on. So they'll have connections and with a mentor to help guide them. And then following that program, a lot of them enter the Eurasian Project's Future Leaders.
Awesome.
The Eurasian Project also offers a bridge program. So, for example, if someone from California wants to come to Virginia Wine, and the bridge program helps them basically with moving costs and anything associated with relocating. So the goal is really just to, create a more inclusive wine community here in Virginia. Reggie, if he were here, would tell you that Virginia has the opportunity to become the most diverse wine region in the world because we are still such an emerging and young region that winemakers, growers, people are still figuring out what works well here. And so same with the people that are in the industry. I've worked for Blenheim for almost 10 years, and to see the culture of wine shift now like it has is really exciting because the folks that were drinking wine 20 years ago, their taste may have changed, they may have moved on to other things, and so to invite a younger and more diverse clientele to the tasting rooms, but also winemakers and all aspects is really exciting. So
that's so true. When you think about it, one of the things that when you're growing up, you never think that you can be anything having to do with the wine industry, right? When I was growing up, I would never thought, can I make wines? Can I sell wine? Never thought of it, right? But to have the ability to join someplace where, now you're exposed to that and say, who knows, maybe there's a talent there that you have. You don't even know about it or are unsure that you can bring out to the forefront. And it doesn't matter whether you're, what age you are or from what background you are, people just may gravitate to something and say, hey, this is exactly what I was looking for. So that's great. Yeah.
At the end of the day, they are just grapes, and it is agriculture. And
that is true.
It has such a fussy sort of just connotation to it, and it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
What we do with Enoverse, we have the Enoverse Club is rooted at Blenheim Vineyards, and it's an experiential wine club. So we invite a host every other month to select Blenheim wines, and then they lead an in-person event. So we're taking, their perspective on these wines and sharing it with our club members, and the events are open to the public. And then we also lead the Two Up Wine Down Festival. It's taking place on the lawn at Jefferson School African American Heritage Center.
Yeah. It's amazing.
November 2nd. And
like the funnest wine event.
It's a Virginia wine festival, but we put our own spin on it and invite, Enoverse hosts from previous years. They choose their favorite Virginia wine and pour it at the festival. So they're leading the show, and yeah, it's awesome. So the scope of what we do, the Eurasian Project has been really helpful to connect us on a national level and with their educational tools. But yeah, we're just trying to make wine more inclusive and accessible.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I will say too, going back to the Wine Enthusiast Award, one of the reasons that the Monticello wine region was recognized, not just based on making world-class wine, but also a lot of the efforts that Tracey and Reggie are leading of being more inclusive, more diverse, open, on every tier from a consumer standpoint, as well as to helping people come into the wine industry, which has historically been an extremely white industry.
Right.
So.
No, exactly, yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, and like you said, let's be honest. An egg is an egg, but there's so much you can do with it. It's incredible what you can do with an egg, right? As opposed to just fry it, say that's all I can do. Yeah. Same thing with grapes. Maybe where the tradition is, this is all we do with grapes. But maybe someone comes along, no, there's something else we can do, and here's the flavors, and it changes, and your palate says, hey, this is something that I truly like.
Exactly.
Yeah, palates are changing, and honestly, climate change is affecting it as well,
absolutely.
Between hybrids
No doubt about
and... Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back for that one. But it's been a pleasure having you both on.
Thank you.
Where can people remind people again where they should go to get those tickets?
Yeah, so head over to Better World and search for either the Generous Poor or Virginia Wine Benefit, and that'll pop right up. I think I heard too that we're going to throw the link in the.
Yep, Nate. I'll have Nate stick the link in the comment sections.
Awesome.
So be on the tune when this goes pops in recorded version. Nate will go in there and stick some links in.
And one other thing to share: we are an all volunteer group, as is Eurasian Project. So all of the funds really go directly to the beneficiaries and to great work.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. If you know your ticket and your auction, the things that you bid for are going to great causes.
Exactly. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Eileen, Tracey, thanks
thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a learning process.
Thank you, people, for watching. Whoever's out there.
We do have definitely some people watching as we make the switch. We've got Bill McChesney. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I think I spotted. Who else did I spot? Andre Xavier. Thanks so much for doing another great entrepreneur in our area. Is tuning in, and I'm pretty sure I spotted. We got a bunch more. Joellen Finasso, thanks for watching. Nevin Turde, thanks for watching. Maddie Simon, Eli Enriquez, muchísimas gracias for watching. Claire McKinley. We got a bunch. All popping in this morning. Dave Ludlow, thanks for watching. Dave McNeil, Joe Whistler, Lorena Kushmead, thanks for tuning in this morning. So we got a lot of viewers.
That's all on your computer here.
Yeah, it's all on my computer here.
Okay.
That's all on my computer here. Let's see. And I think Nick said we got a quote on our I Love CVille page here.
Quote?
Andre Xavier says, Eileen and Tracey are forces to be reckoned with. They are very talented, and we are very lucky to have them.
Super.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
And Nick is definitely putting the link in there, so if you want to go ahead and click that. And from two great guests to two more fantastic guests that we've been looking for. I've had this one circled for a while, and I knew that, because I always love our monthly meetup with Matthias, but then I heard it's going to be Matthias and friends.
Oh,
special
guest.
And special guest.
Now you felt
and then I was like, who's the special guest? And he said, it's Ali Sevindi from Otto Turkish CVille. And I went, yes, I love Otto Turkish CVille. So we are really excited to welcome this morning Matthias Young and Ali Sevindi from Otto Turkish. Thanks so much for coming on, both of you.
Absolutely. Great to have you.
So glad to be here, and so glad to bring my good friend Ali along. And I wonder if introductions are necessary. I think everyone knows Otto, and everyone knows Ali's face from behind the counter, waving friendly. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I appreciate you, Matthias, and thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So I kind of want to phrase this way, right? Because normally we just ask people, well, how'd you get started? But I want to do a little bit of a double question, which is, obviously, Ali, how did you first say, okay, I want to start Otto Turkish street food? And then Matthias, your question is, how did you first meet Ali and come across it? How did this friendship come about?
Yeah, it's actually a nice story. So I moved here in 2014 from Germany, and Ali is my oldest friend here in Charlottesville. The same year I moved here, we met. We were both working at the Clifton Inn back then. A long time ago. It seems like a different life. But, that's where we met.
So it predates Otto Turkish street food as its existence. Even.
Exactly, yeah. And Ali speaks German. Yeah. And so there was a little touch of homeland. And
Yes.
becoming friends with Ali. And that's how we met, long time ago, yeah.
That's amazing. So Ali, how about yourself? How did you come to Charlottesville, and then how did you sort of make the switch to say, hey, I want to start a Turkish street food restaurant?
Yeah, so I also came here in late 2013, 2014, beginning. I came on an internship, and that's how I met Matthias out there, Clifton.
Okay.
It was a really professional place that, it helped us, build friendship. So the Turks and the Germans have actually...
We're just so relaxed that the hand of God has to come in and say, move the money.
Yeah. So there are around approximately 5 million Turkish people living in Germany.
Yes.
And so we have deep roots together with Turks and Germans. And then always...
We continue the tradition here in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Build up, yeah.
Exactly.
But as a background, I studied hospitality and business. So with our culinary backgrounds, I also have a business partner. His name is Haldun Turgay. So who I also met at Clifton as well. So after working a while in Charlottesville, we decided to create a concept that's called Döner Kebab, which is really famous all over Europe as well as in Germany that Matthias knows.
Okay.
Yes.
So we created this concept in 2020 during the pandemic, actually.
Yes.
Which was a little challenging times.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah, but I do appreciate our local community for the sports. That's how we survived, so I'm grateful with that.
I mean, you guys have just such a devoted following, but I can understand, having been there myself, once you go and you taste just the flavor of everything, it kind of becomes one of your go-tos of oh man, where do I want to go eat tonight? Because there are times when my wife Elizabeth and I, because she's also, it's funny, she's her mom is from Germany as well.
Oh, wow. And she's probably watching today.
Oh, probably. They had a little snow in Montana, because that's where they are now. But if Monica Miller is able to watch, I know she's watching. Or she'll watch the recording, because it's a huge thing there, especially the döner kebab.
Yeah.
She immediately knew it. And there's so many times around the downtown moments, what do we want to eat? And it's Otto Turkish. We have to go around the corner and know there's just the flavor. And you can see why why you guys have just such a following of people that, even though, the pandemic happened right after, it's oh no, I still have to go. I still have to support it.
Have you ever run a restaurant or anything like this before?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. So, working at Clifton did help with the back of fine dining experiences.
Okay.
As well as I was there for 5 years, managing food and beverage operation as well as the wedding and working on the wine program. And I also work at the Oakhurst Inn. We helped them establish a bar out there as well. Then also helping the food and beverage operations.
Yes.
And with the background of working in Europe and studying hospitality, it did help a lot.
Had the experience, yes.
So,
absolutely. Matthias, on that vein, how about yourself? What do you love most about Otto Turkish?
Well,
what's your favorite thing?
The food.
The food. Of the food.
As Ali already touched on, there's a giant Turkish minority living in Germany. Actually, it's the biggest minority, because after the Second World War, when we rebuilt the country, we invited mainly Turkish and Italians families over to help us rebuild, and as a result, we have the huge Turkish population in Germany, and obviously they brought their tradition, culture, and cuisine over, which is why, as a result, you now see Turkish döner shops at every street corner. So this Turkish street food concept that Ali and Aldun brought to Charlottesville, I know it from Germany. And you mentioned your mother-in-law. She would be excited about the döner kebab here, because we Germans, we know döner kebab. And so there was a lot of excitement when Aldun and Ali decided to actually open up one of those shops here in town. So they did what I never had the courage to, to bring some Turkish-German street food to the area. And then the admirable story, in my opinion, is it was the first year of the pandemic. We saw shops and restaurants and businesses close.
Yes.
They either pivoted to takeout only or food delivery, or they, as we know, unfortunately, a lot of them had to shut down.
Yeah.
Yet those two crazy guys, they opened up their restaurant December of 2020, right?
Yeah.
So half a year into the pandemic, they opened up, and I know for a fact that they never regretted it because it took off. And as I said earlier, everyone knows Otto's nowadays.
Oh, yes.
It's a staple of downtown Charlottesville. And I find it inspiring as a story.
Oh, absolutely.
And while we do see the local economy recovering, we all see less and less vacant storefronts here in town. I think it's a story to highlight.
Well, I appreciate you, Matthias. Thank you for that. So, just like you said, just in Germany alone, they sell over 2 million doner kebabs. Ooh. It's really crazy. Mm-hmm. So, and it's spread all over Europe and in Middle East, or in Greek cuisine, they call it gyros or shawarma.
Oh, okay,
so,
yes.
Right. Yes.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, with our concept that we specialize authentic, vibrant, delicious Turkish cuisine with a modern twist. So that's like there is something for everyone. It's unique and satisfying.
Yes.
Yeah, as well as offering caterings for the family gatherings.
Oh yeah, tell us about that. Is that a newer thing? Some people, I think, our viewers may not realize that you can actually do catering with Otto Turkish.
Yeah, that is something. Our concept is really suitable for that. We are like, we can offer a concept to our local community that offers a vegan, vegetarian, or the meat options with signature sauces that can be really great. That's all with locally sourced fresh ingredients, and that can be also affordable, all the way from weddings to corporate events. Yes, or the hospital
at UVA as well.
UVA as well. Yeah, we are trying to reach out, and obviously during this process, I'm grateful to all our local community that.
And actually, if you go to UVA grounds during lunchtime, you see a Otto's food truck there. You might have seen it. It's a bright yellow food truck, and I think every day, Monday through Friday, you offer. Probably a smaller concept than the restaurant, but a smaller menu. But so food truck, restaurant, and catering.
Wow. Or like private dinings, special events, like going to wineries, breweries up in request, or even the weddings. That plays a big role.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah.
What is it?
That's amazing.
It has the classic thing where it's like, there's a simplicity to it, but yet within the simplicity, like it's not overly complicated, overly expensive, right? Within the simplicity, there's just such a range of flavor. Because every time you go, you can experience something different. What I love most about it is you have right the flavors of the meats. You have the flavors of the sauces. You have the pickled elements. So you've got the little cucumbers. Sometimes you got the pickled onions. Yeah. Right. My personal favorite is the fried eggplant.
Yeah.
So I'm that person, that annoying person. Like, can you put a little more of the fried eggplant? You've probably done that for me. Like, oh man, here he is again. He wants more fried eggplant. Yeah. And just the combination just elevates it to a new level that the simplicity of it you wouldn't think, right? It sort of deceives you in its simplicity because it's just the mix of flavors is tremendous. So it works beautifully for gatherings. I know up in New York they do this a lot, right? There'll be a lot of Italians, right? If you have a huge gathering of like 30 people, 20, 30 people, you're not going to go in the backyard and cook like 10 lasagnas yourself, right? And cook all that stuff yourself. You find some Italian place that's really good about the catering and do that because it's easy to do. And you can imagine the ease here of being, oh man, I really want this for my family gathering, but I'm not going to make tuna kebab and get the whole thing and shave it off. So to have the ease of having you take care of that for them and know that it's going to be delicious, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be local, and
everybody has a choice, right? Because like Ali mentioned, if you're a vegetarian, you can go that route, and if you're a vegan, you can go that route. If you like meat, you can definitely go that route, right? And if you like eggplants, you can even go that route.
Exactly.
Even extra.
Exactly. Precisely. Elizabeth says she loves the doner kebab. It's such a tasty mix of flavors.
Yeah.
And Andre Xavier says the Clifton Inn had produced a great number of successful entrepreneurs, including himself. He was also at the Clifton Inn at some point. So it has they'll have to call it the Clifton Inn entrepreneur tree.
Yeah.
So Andre is Brazilian, I think. I'm
Yes.
German, and then the Turkish, and that's where we all met.
Yeah.
At the Clifton Inn back in the
amazing,
day.
yeah.
And actually, if you think about it, it's interesting that in Charlottesville, relatively a small city compared to other hubs for European cuisine, we have 3 Turkish restaurants here in town. We always had Sultan Kebab by our friends Dennis and Serhat. They were here for probably 10 years now.
As a business, they've been here like over 10 years, which they celebrate. So I'm proud of them.
They have roots at the Clifton Inn as well. And then now you have Aldun and Ali with their Turkish street food concept. And then you have also a Turkish fine dining experience. Can you say Turkish or is it Mediterranean with Tariq Smirna on West Main? All that is Turkish food.
Yes, they're fine dining. They could it. Our advantage is that a lot of our ingredients are being shipped from Turkey. That gives like extra flavor. And then when we combine them with the locally sourced ingredients, it makes it really unique.
It is so good. And I love the authenticity of it too. Just you go in there, when you go to like the fridge, if you want to drink, you have the Turkish sodas and everything. The Turkish beer, I think, is in there as well. And so like you can actually get the drink. The first time I did it, now I do it all the time. I always want the Turkish soda because I'm like you get to have the full experience of it as though you were having it. Probably, I'll bet you in Germany probably they have a lot of the Turkish sodas and stuff as well. But you get that real experience that you're immersed in it, and it's just such a great atmosphere.
I remember Ali complaining to me how long it took him to be able to import the Turkish beer that they now offer. So there was a lot of blood and sweat and tears involved.
Months of research actually, like just trying to convince the companies like bring some Turkish wine, Turkish beer, even Greek beer we are offering. Why not, right?
Nice. So it's a beautiful mix. Lucrecio Morales says saludos amigos. He's the owner of Sombreros right here on the downtown mall as well, saying hello this morning. Hola, buenos dias. Buenos dias, Lucrecio. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. And I mean, I think to your point, Matthias, it really is a beautiful one of the, I think, the great draws of Charlottesville. And the great thing is that this place has just...
It's amazing, isn't
it? The diversity of cuisine that you can get here is just... It's so much more than you would expect for a city of this size. I mean, it was...
Well, per capita, I think we have one of the most, diverse restaurants. So
it's amazing that you're not just limited to your staples of what you think of with American food, right? You actually have access to just amazing food and people like you that like persevering and bringing it to us just with such love and authenticity and passion that it really comes out.
Yeah, I'm grateful that we combine Turkish hospitality, which is really famous. As you know, a lot of Europeans actually go to Turkey for the tourism and then hospitality because that's when our guests or customers walk into the store, the way we want to treat them is like, I see them just like my friends. As soon as they walk in the store, I see them as my friends. So like they came all the way, I want to take care of them. I want to take care of them with my hospitality, and it's really important. Like even in Turkey, when someone comes in the store, sometimes you want to offer them tea, you want to offer them coffee just as complimentary. That's just a tradition. So
I remember first time I ever walked into Otto Turkish, the person there who was putting the things together, so friendly, said, "Oh, hello, how are you?" That I'm thinking to myself,
wait, do they know me?
Do they know me? Like I felt bad. I'm like, oh man, I feel like I should know their name because they know me. And then I realized, no, I think they're just. This is the hospitality. It's like they treat you like you've been there 20 times before, even though it's your first time.
And that's the beauty of it. I mean, so there are, the Italians are the same way. It's like you go to a restaurant, sometimes you feel like, it's like you're just part of the family. They treat you like part of the family. And when you go to a place like that, you feel so much more comfortable, right? You enjoy it more. You see the food is, and the fact that they're they have already that friendliness and that, again, that family feeling to it.
Yes.
The food has also that kind of flavor and intensity that is what you don't want, that you want from, when you go home, it's like, you have that same food. So that's the beauty of it, is that, that whole package, when that friendliness in the food is something this is why you, like you said, this is why you return to places, right? Because of all of that.
Absolutely. It's just, it's the beauty of it, and just love that. I love that you're out here also like helping. I think one of our favorite things to talk to Matthias about is when you come on, is just you can tell your love for all that Charlottesville has and bringing it out, and so it's just always a joy to have you both on. Ali, I wanted to ask, so if people are interested in so obviously a lot of our viewers will know that you're on the downtown mall on the Water Street side.
Yeah.
For people who are interested in the catering, do they go to your website if they want to know more about, okay, I want to cater, I want to have them come out somewhere to a family gathering? Where's the right way to get in touch with you for that?
Yeah, the website is actually really sourceful that it's so easy that they can just click submit an catering inquiry.
Oh, okay.
And then it does ask all the questions about their needs, if they have any dietary restrictions, anything, because our menu is like offering all those variety options and capable of doing that. Obviously, they are more than welcome to just call, we will be happy to help them as well. Or send us email, email is very easy, just like the name of our restaurant at gmail.com.
Oh, perfect. That's super easy. The website is also really easy. It's just auto-cville.com.
Yeah.
Super easy. You can't mistake it.
Very easy to get there.
Absolutely.
And it's got a phone number too.
And it has the phone number too. I mean, it's everything. It even has the little. It's a very nice website, I have to say. It even has the little contact us chat button that you press the little, speech bubble thing, and poof, you can do any inquiry.
I also see them a lot on social media. Yeah. There are a few restaurants here in town that do a really good job of promoting what they offer on social media. I see them all the time, like Otto's, Guajiros, and all those. I always wonder, how can I learn how to
learn from what they do?
Learn about Instagram from them, because I still struggle with promoting myself that way. So.
Absolutely. No, you have a great Instagram. In fact, you're on the Instagram page yourself. One of them is you with a nice smile enjoying Otto CVille.
I was honored. Ali asked me if I wanted to sit as a model on the table when the photographer was there. Is it the picture that you used this morning, right?
Yes.
I think they're serving me a Turkish coffee.
They are. They are serving you a Turkish coffee. Absolutely.
And it's not staged. I was actually there innocently. Yeah. You find me a lot at Otto's actually during lunchtime.
Yes.
Working, sending emails. I like it. Well, convenient location.
Well, I appreciate you, Matthias.
No, it's and Bernardo Martinez, owner of Sombreros 2 with Lucrecia, he says, I'm going to read it in Spanish first and then translate for the audience. Alex Xavier, otro muy buen programa. Muchas felicidades a Ali por su esfuerzo y dedicación para hacer de Otto Restaurant y Food Truck un éxito completo, which and he says, many congratulations to Ali for your effort and dedication in making Otto Restaurant and Food Truck a complete success.
I understand all of it.
You're so good.
Yo hablo español también. Muchas gracias, mi hermana.
And you know each other too.
Yeah. They're just the sweetest people. They
so
always smile. They have a nice food truck at the amphitheater as well. As well as like a really nice restaurant right next to us, actually. Right. I can always see their enthusiasm or like their passion with their foods. And I always get their quesadillas or burritos. It's just so good. And they're like, hermano, ¿tienes hambre? I was like, sí, siempre. It's like, so I appreciate them a lot.
And then you can tell that they appreciate you as well. I love that as well, just the community.
Exactly.
People in Charlottesville, like
it's not a competition.
No,
it's an embracement of everybody.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the beauty.
Enjoying all of what's there and just the passion, and you can tell just even having you both on, just your passion for what you do and your passion for sharing it with the great people in Charlottesville, with our audience and with us.
And I find it so inspiring. The circumstances were not ideal at all for them. It being 2020 and the pandemic and all the restrictions. and they just, believed in the concept, opened up. And if you look online, look at the Google reviews, for example, you understand why they are successful, because it's about the dedication and the service, which we can all learn a lot from. Places like Sombreros and Ottos and Guajiros, all they have a following for a reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not only the food, it's the experience.
Exactly.
That's how I see it.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. So, I mean, it's been such a pleasure to have
It really
both
has,
of you
yeah.
on and just talk to
Actually,
you.
meeting,
and
I
just-
don't think I've ever met Otto.
Yeah, this is our it's the
Yeah.
first time.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Pleasure for me.
So it's
You
a
have to come back,
pleasure.
Ali.
Yes.
Bring Aldo into it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you for thinking of this. I mean, I would say this was Matthias's idea. We didn't tell him, hey, bring on Ali with you. I love this idea of just sharing not just what you love about Charlottesville. I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't as selfless as it looks. I'm hoping that he buys me lunch at Otto's.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I'll bring Haldon here too. He'll talk and he'll.
There you go. There you go.
I'll get you some more extra eggplant too. Don't worry.
Perfect. Thank you both. So
Again,
much.
Thank you. It's been a lot
thank
of
you for
fun.
having
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Such a joy, such a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you both. So be sure to always check out Matthias where he is. You can find him on Facebook as well as Matthias on Realty. Check out.
He'll be on Instagram soon.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean,
you
he's
can
already
find him on
Instagram.
Instagram. Just go to
He's on. Just go on Turkish CVille and you'll find him.
there you are.
And he's soon he'll be an Instagram star as well.
Yeah.
And so thank you both so much. Thank you for
thank you for
being
having
with me today. It was a fantastic show. Be
It
sure
really
to look
was.
up all our great guests. We really appreciate everyone who tuned in today. I mean, thanks so much for the comments and the beautiful words and really just it's the viewers that interact that make this show special, that make us really enjoy what we do.
It really is, yes,
So
absolutely.
it's the beauty of it, and it's funny how we come full circle. I mean, Ali speaking Spanish too, being just the today, Mañana, and of course Bernardo and Lucrecia were our very first guests.
Yes, yeah.
on
And they
Today,
started in
Mañana.
2020 also, remember?
2020
which was,
as well.
Again, also a struggle, but,
Yeah, so
that's how
just-
you know that they're genuine, they love what they do, and they have good
Exactly.
food. It's the fact that they survived that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
passion comes through. So
Yeah.
really continue to really patronize and come to these amazing
Yes.
people doing great work in Charlottesville, sharing their culture with all of us. So we appreciate it. Of course, we appreciate our amazing partners, Matthias Realty, Craddock, Serious Insurance, Forward Adelante, our presenter, Emergent Financial Services. We appreciate Judah behind the camera, working overtime today with
Absolutely, yeah.
5 people cycling in and out. Appreciate all he does. Appreciate the I Love CVille Network. We are grateful for all of you. We look forward to seeing you next week. But until that time, as we like to close it out, hasta mañana.